Hey, what's up, everybody? Thank you for listening to Operation Agency Freedom, where we are bringing you top secret advice from the world's most badass digital agency owners. These amazing men and women are sharing their stories of how they have built 6, 7, and 8-figure digital agencies and how you can too. My name is Chris Martinez, CEO of Dude, where we are helping digital agencies by giving them the people and the processes so that they can scale profitably. And today I am joined by my homie, Jeff Sherman from Tech Sweat. What's up, Jeff?
How's it going, man?
Good. Thanks so much for joining me, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
So I think you're coming live to us today from Laguna Beach. Is that right? Laguna
Niguel.
Laguna Niguel. Awesome.
Close enough.
And you're originally from Maryland, right? I think.
Yeah, from Baltimore.
Nice. How long have you been in Southern California?
3.5 years now already.
Wow. God, I feel like the day that you moved, it was like yesterday.
Yeah, same here.
Awesome. Well, we're going to get into your story in a second, but as we start off every show, we're going to talk a little bit about you and some of the things that you like to do outside of the agency world.
Right.
And, I know you've been doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for a little over a year now. Is that right?
Consistently. Like I actually started a long time ago when I was in Baltimore at a no-gi MMA gym. Ended up getting hurt and then got into CrossFit and then went back to a judo and jiu-jitsu gym right before I moved. And when I got out here, took me about 3 years, 2.5 years to get back into it. But now me and my daughter have been doing it full time for almost a year now.
Yeah, that's awesome. I see your posts on social media in your gi, and then also your daughter doing some really cool stuff. So, we were talking about this earlier, of course, and I started my jiu-jitsu journey about 6 months ago. So let's talk about that, man. Talk to me about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, how you got into it, and what that's meant to you personally, as well as also in your business.
Yeah, I mean, originally, I guess I got into it, just for some, I like to try different things, and I get bored with stuff easily. When I get into something, I get into like 110%. And
right.
So initially, I just got into it, and just out of curiosity and wanting to try something different, and but just liked, the benefits, not just the self-defense stuff, but because I could already pretty much take care of myself for the most part, obviously, and not against somebody trained, but but it was more just that challenge and getting that dose of reality every time you go to train.
Yeah. What's like the biggest lesson that you've learned? Because you're an athlete, I know you played soccer in the past. You were a fitness professional for many years. What's like the biggest lesson that you've learned from jiu-jitsu, I guess, from a fitness and athleticism standpoint?
Yeah, I mean, fitness, athleticism standpoint, business standpoint, life standpoint, it all comes down to the same type of lessons. And one of the main things is, like, I teach to my daughter, every time, it's like, there is no losing, it's either winning or you learn.
Yeah.
And you learn more when you do lose. But you still need to try to figure out, like, even when you win, like I tell her, when you win or lose, the after, what you do afterwards should be identical. You need to analyze what went well, what didn't, what you could have done better. Because if you just win, you're like, oh, I'm good. You don't know what you did to win, and it's hard to duplicate that. So if you can still analyze things you could have done better, things like, well, I got away with this, but I was lucky because they didn't do this. If they would have did this, I would have lost, but they didn't. So, but as long as you can go back and analyze and realize that, you can still learn even when you win. Most people, then when they win, they think they did everything right and they don't learn anything. And you see that a lot in business, where somebody will come out with a good idea, don't even know it, have success and think they're a great marketer or a great business owner. And then a year later, they're like scrambling for, help and questions and don't know what to do. And they couldn't sustain their business. So it's a good lesson to learn, not only in jiu-jitsu, but also for, pretty much anything that you do in life.
Yeah, no, that's great. I think that for me, jiu-jitsu, I guess I'm kind of a big dude, 6 foot. I think right now I'm at 205. When I started jiu-jitsu, I was actually at 217. And I've been working out consistently. I go to the gym like 5 or 6 days a week lifting. And so, when I started jiu-jitsu, it was all strength, obviously, because I have no technique. And I still find myself using more strength than jiu-jitsu just because I'm still, just trying to establish the fundamentals. But using the strength at the beginning, and by strength, I mean, my physical strength, my muscles really, really hurt me. And that was, I think, one of the biggest lessons that I learned at the very beginning. It's this like trying to overpower somebody. And like when something hurts or a joint's not going in the right direction, just trying to power through that. What ended up happening is I would get injured, right?
Yeah.
And then I can't train at all for like 2 weeks. I mean, there was like a week where I couldn't train. And then there was another 2 weeks where I couldn't roll. And so that ended up really hurting my progress. And that was like a light bulb moment for me. It's like, how often am I trying to force something using just brute strength in my business and my personal life? And what ends up really happening is that it slows down my progress overall.
Yeah.
So like that was like a huge lesson for me. And so then after that, in my recovery and my shoulder's feeling it was my shoulder basically is what I screwed up. And I've learned to like, really just focus on technique and not natural ability or brute strength. And that's really, really helped me.
Yeah, same here. I mean, besides that, like you use brute strength, then that first match, somebody's good. They're going to weather the storm and wait for you to get tired because, like, big guys like us, we're using a lot of muscle, pumping a
Oh,
lot
exactly.
of blood. And if you do get through that first match, that second match, your arm's going to be just like dead, right?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Or if you do happen to, force them into something and get them to tap, and it's not like a match in a tournament where it's over. You got to start all over again. So now you're like super tired and they're just waiting for their turn. So you're going to be struggling the rest of the time. So yeah, I learned that same lesson, especially with injuries. I've always tried to keep rolling through the injuries so that way I learn how to adapt and not use strength, because I had a shoulder injury as well.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as it wasn't hurting, just put pressure on it, I would still roll and learn not to use it as much. And it sucks because I'm not used to being on bottom or used to being, having that pressure. But it's a good learning experience for sure.
Yeah, and we were talking about this right before the show. Like just in our academy, everybody rolls. So white belts have the opportunity to train and roll with the blues and the purples and the brown. And so I'm actively looking to roll with the guys who are a step ahead of me, which that absolutely correlates to business, where you want to be surrounded by people who are 1 level or 2 level or 3 levels ahead of you. And that can really accelerate your growth. And that's one of the things that I love most about my the academy that we train at, is that one is everybody is super, super willing to help.
Yeah.
Like you never there might be this misconception by a lot of people who've never trained in jiu-jitsu and martial arts that it's a bunch of meatheads, like you see the people in MMA with the tattoos and they look crazy. But I think in most martial arts academies, it's not like that at all. Like it's this friendship, this family, everybody's willing to help. And so, like that's one thing that I love. And then that everybody's so willing to help. And then you really do progress a lot faster when you surround yourself by those and train with those people who are a few levels ahead of you.
Yeah, for sure. And again, there's a lot of correlations between that and business, because you can learn the technique or the move, or in business like a strategy.
Mm-hmm.
But like that's why we drill and you learn how to do it. But it's really all about the mat time, actually executing, going in it, because nothing, like in business, nothing works out the way you map it out on paper, right? Things come in that you wouldn't even see, come in from out of nowhere, didn't think you're going to have to deal with, and you only get better by the more live matches you have. Like you have to drill, but if that's all you do is drill and then get one match, it's going to take a lot longer for you to accelerate the growth than if you were just drilling a little bit and getting 5 matches.
Yep. 100%. The implementation when it counts is super, super important at the end of the day. Awesome, man. Well, let's transition into your story. So let's hear about Tech Sweat and how you got started. So why don't we start? Just tell us a little bit about Tech Sweat. What do you guys do? Where are you located? How you help people?
Yeah, I mean, Tech Sweat is located now, like obviously in Southern California, where I am. It was really just an evolution. I'm a personal trainer at heart. When I was in the military, I got certified as a personal trainer as an extra duty assignment to get out of my job in the military, because I didn't like working on airplanes in the Air Force. When I went back home, started a personal training studio, and just through sheer like grit and just hustling, I did okay. But it wasn't until I was in Air National Guard still, and it wasn't until I got activated and had to go to the Middle East for 2 years that I started looking for solutions online, because I was like, I got to find a way to be able to keep training my clients so my business doesn't fall apart while I'm gone. And so I started looking, and I found this software called High Tech Trainer, which Bedros Keuilian, was one of his first products I created at the time, and it allowed you to create workouts and send them to your clients through email or whatever. And
What year is this, just so that we can kind of frame it?
2006, 2007.
Oh, nice. Okay, so 2006, 2007, you find the software that can magically send training to email via email.
Exactly. There was a website they could log in. It was very, very rough, but it got the job done. It worked.
Yeah, exactly.
And when I was in the Middle East, we worked 12-hour shifts. People on my shift would work out with me. People on the other shift wanted me to like program workouts for them. So I was actually making money on the side there by programming workouts for people on the other shift. So it was pretty cool. So I was like, all right, this Bedros guy might be onto something. So I kind of started digging into all of his stuff and started just open my eyes to to thinking bigger. And 2008, I went to his Fitness Business Summit, just consumed like all of his content and stuff. And I ended up joining his information marketing mastermind. So I wanted to go take my stuff online. And I was playing soccer at the time. I created this soccer conditioning formula, ebook program, like a 6-week training program, and learned like all the internet marketing skills as far as like SEO and doing press releases and affiliate marketing and all this other stuff. And I realized really quickly that it wasn't something that I wanted to do long term as far as this soccer niche. And I also like sub niche it down to women because I had some women soccer coaching clients at the time that it was easy for me to get testimonials and just put their programs and stuff in there. But I would post like a video of like a guy doing a bicycle kick and scoring a goal, and they'd be like, "Why does it have to be a guy?" And I was like, "I don't know, it was just a video, And so there was a disconnect in the communication, in the conversation outside of just soccer and fitness. I couldn't keep up with them talking about professional women's soccer players because I only knew the stars on the U.S. team. I didn't know like all of the other professional women's soccer players. So I couldn't even keep up with the conversation. So but anyway, I kind of put that on autopilot, but took those same skills I learned to market online and applied it to my offline business. And my offline business just blew up. I was dominating local SEO at the time. I had, 9 out of 10 listings on the first page, just pushed all my competitors out. Even the local big box owner gyms would like see me in Starbucks and like, "Hey, I see what you're doing online. Maybe you should come work for me." And I'm like, "Yeah, I don't think so." So it was literally like, killing mosquito with a flamethrower at the time because nobody was using the online strategies for offline businesses. The masterminds that I was in, my friends in there were taking, watching what I was doing, kept asking, and I was like helping them out, showing them what I was doing, one-on-one. And eventually I teamed up with a buddy of mine in Vegas, Justin Blum, and we created what we called Bootcamp Underground and came out with our systems and processes program and did really well. With that launch, we did like over $50,000 in like 4 or 5 days. For us at the time, that was really good. And that kind of put us like on the map as far as like consulting. And he never really wanted to do consulting. So he kind of went back after that launch and just started working in his gym. And now he has a franchise and is doing great with his gyms. And I kept up with the consulting stuff and was still running my, my locations. One of the things that I, was known for and still known for is systems and processes. And I was always, and I'm like kind of like a gear junkie and tech junkie kind of, as well. So I created some software for my own business called, and then it didn't really have a name at the time, but it was really just a system that would hold my clients accountable to their weight and fat loss goals automatically. And once I started building that out and I was having issues with developers and stuff, and then, I was still coaching with Bedros and was friends with him at that time. And his brother-in-law is a programmer. And so we decided to team up and let his brother-in-law finish building it out and then launch it to actual, to trainers as well. And we called it Fit Clients. That was my first software. And that's when Tech Sweat was the company. Fit Clients was our first product or software as a service that we did. And that led into doing live workshops, masterminds, coaching, other info products, stuff like that. And it wasn't until 2015, I already knew Carlo because his wife, Nancy, was my assistant, but wasn't working with him. And we ended up starting, Fitness Marketer, our agency in 2015. That's
awesome. So, we do run into these agency owners kind of like yourself who, they didn't have any idea that they would get into the agency space. And some of them had started out as consultants. So when you saw this opportunity to start the agency, was that like a light bulb moment, or was it something that you were kind of saying like, no, I don't really think I want to do it. I don't really think I want to do it. And then you're like, okay, I got to do this. Talk about that, how you opened up Fitness Marketer.
I knew I didn't want to do it, to be honest.
It's hard, man. This is why most people, get into the agency world and then they realize how difficult it is and they shut it down after.
So from day one, Bedros he's a, world-class marketer and salesman, and
Yeah.
he was turning trainers into marketers is what he was doing. And that's what he did to me. I fell in love with marketing. I loved it. I loved tweaking and messing with things and getting, tinkering with things, getting it to work, but I'm still a coach at heart. That's why the consulting came easily to me, because coaching, gym owners and coaching clients, fitness clients, are not too much difference there. Just different information. But most coaches love being a coach, love training. That's why they got into it. That's why they do it. Don't necessarily love being a marketer. Once we convince them that they need to do marketing to grow their business, they, abide and try to learn and do it, but they don't do it right, because they're not marketers. They're just, it's like, there's a lot of gaps in, you do a 30-minute presentation on how to do a strategy. You can't go too deep, you know what I mean? And then them trying to fill the gaps, not a good idea. Then they come back and say it doesn't work. And then, so eventually it's like, okay, we got to stop, trying to turn coaches into marketers, and let's just partner with them and do it for them. And I didn't want to do it, but Carlo was in the right place. Well, Carlo was the right person in the right place at the right time. His wife was my assistant. I was in the process of selling my gym and trying to move to California, so I got rid of my office. So we were working out of Starbucks, and Carlo would just show up and ask me all these questions, because he had closed down his mortgage company a few years before, but just day trading full time. And he wanted to start selling, how to day trade. So I taught him ClickFunnels. We built out a funnel. I taught him about how to make a fan page, how to do social media marketing, how to run Facebook ads. And he was getting a little bit of traction, but not a ton. And he was seeing all the help that I was getting these trainers and how they really needed, somebody to do it for him and get done right. And he really came to me and wanting to start an agency. And I was like, it'll be easy. I mean, there's definitely a huge need in the market for it right now, and we'll definitely make money. But I'm telling you, it's going to be a lot of work, because not only do you have to make the sale, then you have to fulfill on the back end. So it's really, I'm used to information marketing where you sell and the information does a fulfillment, or the software does a fulfillment. As long as it works as advertised and they're happy, you might need one customer service person for refunds or whatever, but that's it. But with, when you're having over 100 agency clients, now they have questions every day. They need to be courted. They need to be, you need to give them attention. You need to tell them what the strategy is and let them know that everything's going to be okay. You got to talk to them all day, every day. And that's not my style. As you know, I like to be a behind the scenes type person. Yeah. Luckily for me, Carlo loves being around people and loves to talk to people, much more of a people person than myself. So I told him, I can give you the strategy. I can give you the audience. I can do everything, but the fulfillment part is going to be on you. We'll build a team, you can manage them, but I don't want anything to do with that part of it.
Well, that's great, man. I mean,
and we started it.
I mean, you really did find the perfect partner. And I think that's something that everybody needs to take into consideration, whether you're starting a new agency or whether you have an existing agency, is you really do need it. It comes down to the people, the people are the most important aspect. I say this all the time, at least for my business, is that the people are the most important aspect of this company. Our product could change overnight. Let's say that the market, decides overnight, hey, nobody wants website development anymore. Well, yeah. I honestly believe that because we have such amazing people, that we'll figure out a way to be able to serve our market or move into a new niche. So
I say that all the time as well. The hardest part of any business is finding your A team, and then once you have your A team and you have the proper systems and processes in place, you're good. Everybody says the customer is always number one. It's no, that your team is number one.
Yep, for sure. So, let's talk about some of the problems that you guys are solving for agency, for trainers. So that's your niche, right?
People brick and mortar, boutique style gyms, boot camps, CrossFit gyms, stuff like that, is our, ideal client or our niche.
And what are some of the things that you guys are doing for them? What are your core service offerings for the agency?
Yeah. So initially, it was all about email marketing, and we already had what we call now low barrier offers, or, in the digital marketer world, it's tripwires or whatever, but it's really just a trial membership. And we used to sell those primarily through our email list, because email marketing was big thing. Facebook marketing wasn't really around. Google, AdWords, a little too expensive for most trainers. But then when Facebook came along and to open up their ad platform, it just made so much sense to have to put it, let's automate this process rather than people replying to an email and then you following up and you selling them and only selling to your email list. Now you can reach a broader audience, through Facebook. So we created, landing pages or funnels they weren't even called, I guess it wasn't even called a funnel at the time really. But, and for my own business, I created all those, and they were converting and working really well. So when we started the agency, we were really just licensing what I was already doing. So I already had, at the time, I think I had 4 or 5 funnels that were proven, knew they worked. So we just licensed my funnels to them, where they would get permission for one location, one gym, to be able to use the core part of the funnel. They have to obviously change like my before and after photos, my about me section. They have to put their hours in there, their Google map, all that stuff. But besides that, they had a proven funnel that they could use. And initially we sold the template, which was a bad idea because people again would implement it wrong and then change too much of it and then it not work. So we actually ended up taking away the template sales, and only we're selling the integration, the license with the full integration. So we would actually go in there and set it up for them.
But the template is still the same, right? You're just not letting the client manipulate and screw up the template, correct?
Exactly. Yeah.
And do your clients?
Every once in a while, we'll like once a year, we'll do like a template sale just for like a flash sale kind of thing. And we crush it. Like we sell out every time. When we do that, because that's what people want, even though it's not good for them. And then the people that go through our implementation boot camp, which is where they come out for 2 days and implement it, and we're over their shoulder helping them. We let them buy the templates because now that they've been trained by us to do it properly, we trust them that they can buy the rest of the templates and do it themselves, but only if they come to that workshop.
Ah, that's a great lesson right there. All right, let's come back to that one. But I want to talk about the template thing, because this is something that I hear from digital agency owners all the time, is they feel like the only thing that's going to be of value to the clients is a fully custom solution, right? And obviously that's super, super hard to scale because it's custom, right? Like how do you mass produce that?
You pretty much need a full team for each client when you do
exactly, that. Yeah. It's so I'm not the only one that says this, but I tell clients, it's like, hey, you got to get away from that. Like, if you want to continue this crazy agency world, it's exciting and you can get some big paydays. But if you want freedom, like if you want to have an agency that's going to run itself, you got to get away from the custom stuff. Do your clients ever care that they are getting a template?
I mean, some of them, but they're usually the ones that get in their own way and overanalyze and overthink things. And it's they think they're special, even though they're, none of us are.
Right. Yeah.
And they're not the ones that are successful, but there are a few. But we change our mind real quick because we're like, okay, if you want to change it up and do this, we can, but we're not guaranteeing any results. And then when it doesn't, they're like, okay, do it your way, and then we'll change it. But there are some people, small percentage, because, we're putting out content, conditioning them and teaching them why it's not a big deal, because, a gym in Baltimore running the same offer as a gym in LA, that makes no difference, and right. When it comes to even fan page posting, we put the same content on everybody's fan page. People reading the fan page in Baltimore, that gym, and the people reading the fan page in the gym in LA, they have no idea, it's okay.
That's super, super helpful. And then the second thing is when you look at the lifetime value of the client, right? Because we're all trying to build long-term relationships, customers for life. When you have those people who are anti the template, they want to try and do it all on their own, ultimately they're shooting themselves in the foot. Do those people end up translating into long-term customers for you?
Some do. I mean, they're humans, so some have the ability to change their perspective and to change their mindset. Other ones are pretty stubborn and want to keep, pushing and prove themselves right, for whatever the cost. So I mean, some do, some don't. There's no, I don't really know that the majority do or not. I would say probably 50-50.
Oh, okay, cool. So that's higher than I would have expected. And then like your live event, I imagine that that is just like a huge like solidarity, like it just solidifies the relationship for you.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we've evolved, we have a whole suite of products now where we have like a membership site where we actually just teach you everything we do in the agency. It's a yourself type membership site, and they get in there, and again, we know they're going to screw it up, but that's okay, because then they reach out to us when they screw it up, and then that's a chance for us to bring them on to the done for you side, which is this agency side. And then our workshop is a combination. It's the best of both worlds. It's a do it yourself while we stand over your shoulder and help you and do it, get it done for you. When you leave the workshop, you are going to have the funnels done, integrated. The ads are going to be live. We even have a contest to see who can get the most sales before the workshop's over.
That's awesome. And how long is that workshop?
It's 2 days. So by the end of the first day, they have pretty much their first funnel done, and when they come in the next day, their first ad should be live. So they have the whole next day to compete with each other to see who can get the most sales. And then the next day, because the next day is really just mostly implementation of the other funnels, kind of reiterating what we taught the first day. But pretty much all the information is taught the first day, and they have and they're implementing it as we're teaching it. So it's like, okay, now we're going to change the headline. Click over here. Now we're going to do this. You're going to change. This is how you put in your Google Maps. This is how you do this. And then everybody does it, and we move on. And then we have me and Carlo and Bedros, and then the rest of our team is there walking around when people are struggling, helping them through it as we're teaching.
And how big are these the workshops?
Yeah, so normally about 25, 30 people.
Okay.
And we charge anywhere between, $3,000 and $4,000, depending on what we're doing. Like one time we gave away surfboards, so we had to charge a little bit more, but it was fun.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's amazing. So if anybody who's listening to this, like this is proof that this stuff works, that like hosting a live event for your clients to help to implement with them. I mean, you said 3,000. So let's say you get 20 people in the room at 3,000, that's $60,000. Like, that's a lot of money. I don't care I don't care if you're doing a million or 100,000, like $60,000 is a lot of money.
10 to 14,000 tops to put on and that's at a nice hotel, with
right.
Catering and everything. So you're still profiting 50, 60,000 there.
And then you're getting the results for the people because they're in the room, right? You're creating, or you're helping these people to feel like they're a part of something bigger because, entrepreneurship can be very, very lonely. There's more upsell opportunities, I'm sure, for you. They're going to stick with you longer after this, after they go through the workshop. Yeah.
Cause we do upsell to like, our masterminds and now we have a new program that it's evolved to as well. So.
Yeah, that's great. And then, the other thing is that you're getting an opportunity to get testimonials from people because you've got all those people in the room, the energy, they're feeling excited about it. And then you can grab those testimonials and you can use those to basically, market yourself on autopilot just by running testimonials.
Yep. No, for sure.
That's fantastic. Awesome, man. Well, we're running out of time here. And so thank you so much for giving us all this information. Super, super helpful. Now, who would be the perfect person to reach out to you?
I mean, it depends. If you're looking for agency advice or if you're looking for, to use the agency services. I don't know who the audience is here, but
agencies for the most part, but I'm sure we do have some average.
Agencies, if they have questions about anything, I'm all over social media. You can hit me up anywhere, from Instagram, Facebook. But I'm not really doing any consulting with agencies at the time. Mm-hmm. Most of my stuff's still with personal trainers and mm-hmm. fitness business owners. But going back to the overall idea of template-based agency versus like the traditional, more customized stuff, I think if you pick a sub niche, the process that we have can be duplicated, across any niche. In fact, like my older brother is not a marketer at all. Just like Carlo, I'm teaching him everything from the ground up, and he started in the lawn care business. You can probably hear the guys outside with the grass cutters right now, but so he's talking about people that are just cutting grass, and he's already making money. And he had tried for years selling leadership courses and stuff that he got certified through some bigger names or whatever, and didn't make any money with it. Mm-hmm. And just following a simple template has been able to land customers, and just being authority in one small sub niche, he can make six figures by himself within 2 or 3 months.
Oh, dude, that's freaking amazing. So yeah, I know that is a big challenge for a lot of people is figuring out that niche, and particularly going deeper than a niche. So not just saying landscaping. Like what type of landscaper, like how deep can you go? So
he started with like landscapemarketer.com is what he had, but he was targeting just lawn care at first.
Yeah.
Then you have people that trim trees, they have other things. So he created one funnel, got it to convert. It got data, got a testimonial. Even his first one, he did it. He was like, "Don't pay me until I get your results," and then use that one to get the next one. Use that one to get the next one, kind of thing. And because when it's B2B like that, when you can show data and show testimonials, they're not going to say no. It's like if it makes dollars, it makes sense. Like, yeah, they paid me $500 to manage it, and they made me $3,000 in residual income every single month moving forward. So yeah, it makes total sense.
Awesome, man. What's the best way for people to contact you?
Probably just Instagram, Jeff.Sherman. Probably the easiest place.
Awesome. All right, man. Well, thank you so much for being on the show, Jeff. I really appreciate it. Jeff Sherman, Tech Sweat. Reach out to him. This dude is the man. He's the real deal. Gets real results for his clients. And he's been super generous with his time and has offered to help you guys if you're out there in agency land and you have some questions. So reach out to him. To all of our listeners, thank you so much for tuning in today. And make sure you return next Thursday and every Thursday for the next episode of Operation Agency Freedom.